How do you know if your female cat is pregnant? There are several signs that you can look for that will show up fairly early in the process, and we'll talk about those in this video. But first, let's just talk about the stages of pregnancy in a cat. Most cats are pregnant for about 63 to 65 days, or about 9 weeks. It can be as short as 61 days. It can be as long as 72 days. And they have 5 stages of pregnancy. And each of them have specific signs that go with each that can guide you to tell you when your cat's labor is close. Number 1 is fertilization. If a cat is mated when she is fertile, then she will ovulate and the egg will be fertilized and become an embryo. And embryos implant in the uterus about 2 weeks after fertilization. Number 2 is just the embryo development. So over the next several weeks, the embryos will grow and develop. And each embryo has its own placenta, which allows it to gain all of its nutrients from the mother. The embryos are about 2.5 centimeters after about 3 weeks after fertilization, and sometimes you can even feel them in the belly at that point. The 3rd stage is late gestation. Once the kittens are fully formed, then they just start growing, and this is the last stage of pregnancy that helps them to get ready for birth. This time period requires a lot of energy from the queen, the mother cat, so you may notice a lot more eating and weight gain during this time period. The 4th stage of labor is called pre-labor. It's also called the nesting stage, and this is when you notice that the cat will start looking for warm places to give birth. The other things that you'll notice is sometimes they will drop milk down into their mammary glands. Sometimes they stop eating as much. And then their rectal temperature will go down to around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And then the last stage of pregnancy is labor. And this is when the cat starts licking her abdomen, and which stimulates birth. And then labor's fairly quick in most cats. And what happens is most of these kittens get born within 8 hours of starting labor. They rarely need intervention and are best just left alone in a quiet, calm, warm place to give birth safely. So what are some signs that your cat may be pregnant, like the early signs? Well, the first sign is that she goes out of heat. So if you've ever had a female cat that is not spayed and that cat has gone into heat, you notice these cats just start acting different. They'll roll around a lot. They're very vocal. They're a little bit hyperactive. They want you to pet them right above their tail a lot, and they're basically looking for a mate to make babies with. And what will happen if they do get pregnant during this time is all of that crazy in-heat behavior goes away. It stops. The second thing you'll notice is in these early pregnancies is sometimes cats will get morning sickness just like humans. They'll notice some increased vomiting, maybe some loss of appetite, and maybe, they're just a little bit more tired than normal. So those are some of the other early signs. After the cat is pregnant for a few weeks, you will notice some weight gain. You'll notice that their belly seems to be getting a little bit more round, and that you'll notice that their appetite has increased. Another thing you'll notice is something called pinking up, and that is when their nipples start to actually swell and become more obvious, and they'll get very pink. And so this usually happens about a few weeks into pregnancy. So those are some of the early signs. Later signs, obviously swollen abdomen, nesting behavior is another one. And then just going to your veterinarian and asking them, is my cat pregnant? And your veterinarian, after a few weeks of your cat being pregnant, can take an x-ray or do an abdominal ultrasound and actually tell you how many kittens are in there. So those are the early signs that you need to be looking for to determine if your cat is pregnant. And as always, if you suspect, it's always best to get her in to see a veterinarian to have her checked up and make sure that things like internal parasites and external parasites are all taken care of, and that she's just set up to deliver kittens in a safe, healthy way. So there you have it. Those are the early signs of pregnancy. Have you ever had a cat that has been pregnant and given birth? What did you notice in the early signs? Share it in the comment section below. And if you love this kind of content, please hit subscribe, because I'm here with cats.com, a fair amount sharing information like this with you. Thank you so much for watching, and have a beautiful day.